Mrs. Marina Rotolo, thank you very much for the time you give for us.
Thank you.
A small city in central Greece to get informed about culture and architecture. So for those that are watching us, I would like to say that Mrs. Rotolo is a researcher in Belleville University, a very young and inspiring person. What brings you to Krakow, let's say, for beginning?
For beginning, well, actually, it's the ministry who wrote me an email because I worked on cultural policies and the impact on the cities. I did a PhD in architecture about the city of Matera in Italy, which was European Capital of Culture in 2019. And so I had an email inviting me in this forum, and tomorrow I'm participating to a session about heritage and culture in the way it's transforming cities, big cities, but also small cities.
So we both come from countries that are very rich culturally.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would like to ask you, how do you define the economic use of culture?
Yeah. So the concept of this economic use of culture, for me, we can say it's a tool for economic development. And there are many studies about this, but the way I think this notion is based on the work of Franco Bianchini and Charles Landry in the creative city. So it's an old concept in the 80s. And they explain how the culture can be used in urban development. But there is also the economist Richard Florida that defined the creative class. So using also this tool of culture in a way that the city can be very attractive. So these two works. And my research also focused on territorial marketing strategies. So how heritage is used also in this process.
It was a topic here in the city's forum about that, and we were informed that the city of Krakow tries to attract tourists that come for culture more than, let's say, entertainment.
Yeah.
And they're better customers and tourist customers.
Yeah.
So have you observed trends or models or best practices worth mentioned of countries, cities or projects?
Actually, what you were saying before, it's quite important because there is a book from Boltanski and Esker called Enrichment, a critique of the commodity of culture. And they said that there is a kind of mutation in capitalism. Let's say now we are not producing new objects, but we are giving value to something that already exists. And in this way, heritage becomes a kind of product, existing product, and giving attractivity to cities. So it's important to have this in mind when we are speaking about a new kind of tourism. So this is a major issue of this topic, and my research focuses on one specific aspect of the European Capital of Culture. And in this, I have lots of examples, but maybe I will just tell you two kind of examples. The first one is the city of Marseille in the south of France, which was European Capital of Culture in 2013. And it's always given as an example because of the really big urban transformations that they did for this mega event, let's say, on the waterfront. They completely changed the waterfront in Marseille, but they also had a lot of critics because they didn't really include the local association, cultural and artists. So it was quite complicated also for the residents. And there is another example, because before there were a lot of metropolis that wanted this title of European Capital of Culture. And now we can observe that smaller cities are looking to have this title. And here I'm thinking of the example of Bourges, which is a quite small city and will be European Capital of Culture in 2028. And the cities say, okay, we won't create new equipment, new cultural buildings. We want to capitalize on what we have, the existing city. And we don't want a massive tourism, but we want to promote slow tourism. So the people will stay longer and they can experiment something different.
I think digital nomads are in this group of people that maybe
also,
stay for 6 months, let's say, and
it's kind of also tourism, digital nomad.
The travel, and also as you were speaking, I thought that young people. I saw a lot of students from schools, from local areas also, and other countries that visited for culture.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
it's another kind of tourism. Exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Are EU policies easily adapted? Because I hear in the rooms that we have discussions. That it's not very easy to find the correct initiative or to find.
You mean for the local stakeholder?
Yes, for
find
the small cities.
Which is the right program?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, what is interesting that you have a lot of program in Europe. My research is about this European Capital of Culture, but there are many other programs, and actually there is maybe a lack of communication. And sometimes the cities, they don't really know which program they can adapt in their context. And
that's why we are here, let's say, in the Cities Forum, so that we can reach this.
But sometimes they also create new kind of title or program. For example, in France now they create the cultural capital in France, which is for small cities. So it's the same, they are basing the idea with the same European Capital of Culture, but for small cities. So they create another label so that also small cities can exist and can promote a cultural program during 1 year. So this is interesting. And also in Italy, because a lot of cities wanted to become European Capital of Culture. There were maybe 10 cities in the competition. And only one won the title. So they decided to create the Italian Capital of Culture. And it's interesting because it's like small babies coming from this European program, adapted for each country. So this is quite interesting.
So tourists don't go only to the capital, they go to the nearby cities that have attractions
exactly.
to see. So are there differences between the countries, let's say Southern or Northern Europe?
Actually, in recent years, since 2015 maybe, we can see that there are a lot of cities in the south of Europe having this title of European Capital of Culture. There was Paphos in Cyprus in 2017, then La Valette in Malta 2018, and every time this city had the title, the idea was to bring another look on the south of Europe. And actually Matera in 2019, it was written in the bid book that they wanted to show another face of the south of Italy, because there are lots of stereotypes in the south of Italy, saying, for example, that there is a dependency south, north. So they wanted to create a new image, the south of Italy, and more generally in the south of Europe. And how they can do this? They wanted also to create another image, let's say, not because there is a heritage, a museification of the city in Matera, because the heritage is very, very strong. So they wanted to show something different with the tool of culture. And one important point is that, and maybe it's the difference from the south to the north in Italy, because in the south, young people, they had to move because they don't have the possibility to stay because there is no work. Mm-hmm. So one specific point of the bid book was how can we bring work here in the south of Italy with culture. And actually Matera is a spot in the cinema, and they said we want to attract people working in this field of cinema, culture and arts. So it was something maybe different that you can see in the south of Europe.
Yes, there is not only one side of culture.
Yeah.
So many things that we saw during the forum that cities try to make. Okay, new technologies can help to that. How they can?
Yeah, it's a big question because I think today the AA is one of the tools we have to manage. So it's maybe something that can help to rethink and valorize cultural spaces. For example, it could be an opportunity to think new scenography in museum, but also to limit access in fragile sites, for example. But I also think that, and the COVID crisis shows that we said during the COVID crisis, we can maybe travel staying in our sofa and discovering cities with the screen or in virtual reality. But I think
it's not the same. Yes, it's not the same.
I think tourism in real place can never be replaced. So we can say that the physical experience,
it's the taste, it's the sound.
Yeah, exactly. The sensation, the emotion.
To mingle with the locals.
Yeah, and the meetings with the local people, and can never be replaced by this virtual reality. So I think it's a tool, but it won't change completely the tourism.
So we'll use AI to gather data, to find ideas, to help us connect, find the tools maybe, but...
Yeah, it's one of the tools we have in hands today.
What is the biggest challenge today, do you think?
You mean in culture?
Yes.
Yeah. I think...
maybe one we just said to have the citizens go out of their houses and travel, and one challenge could be
this
that.
This is one of the issues, but I think it's also important not to consume the culture as an object. So I was explaining before this book, Enrichment of the Culture, but I think we cannot see culture as a consumer product. And it's important to start from local specificities and also to adapt cultural policies with the local context. I think it's something really important. And in European Capital of Culture, there is this link between local and global. Mm-hmm. And it's important to find the right balance between this idea of having a dialogue at the European scale, but also finding what is really specific in the local context. And culture means also trying to find what is important in the local place, the needs of the residents, so that it's not something that comes from above, but that it's something shared from the population, because otherwise you will have a lot of conflict and frustration also. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking about also third tourism, massive tourism. So I think trying to find the local scale and to have this value of the local context is very important, so that it's not everywhere the same thing you're gonna find.
It's a danger, because in the old town of Krakow now they're not citizens, local citizens, and many people from other countries work. So it's not like you come in Poland and you do not hear Polish, let's say.
Yeah, exactly. And you can you have the sensation to be
modern
in
museums,
a European
not museums,
city.
exhibitions, let's say.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So I think every city, every country has something unique, and
so we have to stick
have
to
to
this.
stick to this,
Yes.
so that we can feel we are in a different city and not in the very homogeneous city in Europe, and you can find the same thing in different place. This has no sense for me.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
I don't know if you want to add something for our readers and the people that watch.
No, I think it's a very good opportunity, this cities forum, to meet and to have this dialogue between every country in Europe. So it's very stimulating and very nice to meet so many people from different countries. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and I wish you the best for your research.
Thank you very much.